Testing. We're live, aren't we? Yes, yes indeed. How y'all doing? Give yourselves a hand. You made it. I'm Christian. I'm with the New Orleans Jazz Museum, and I want to thank y'all. I want to ask that you keep coming back too. We appreciate y'all coming through for our Gallatin Street Friday music show. We try to embrace and uplift local New Orleans musicians. Check nolajazzmuseum.org in case you want to see future events. We got Mr. Paul Sanchez here, y'all. He is the real deal Holyfield when it comes to New Orleans. What you said, born and bred? What you say, born and bred?
New Orleans born, New Orleans bred. When I die, I'll be New Orleans.
Yes, indeed. 10 brothers and sisters came up in the community, and it's really, you know, people like him, I think, are becoming kind of a endangered species even here in New Orleans. So we really want to give him his flowers right now. Paul Sanchez and his band, y'all. Give him a hand.
Thank y'all very much. It's a song, I mean, it's my first time playing the Jazz Museum. I'm real pleased to be here. Give these guys a hand. They do a great job keeping this place going. And since I'm playing my first time at the Jazz Museum, do a song by one of the greatest jazz singers ever to come out of New Orleans, John Boutte. He and I wrote, yeah, that's right. John and I wrote this song here. It's called Stew Called New Orleans. Come check out the scene and see what I mean about Stew Called New Orleans. I did that too at my Jazz Fest. It's a gumbo pot for sure. It is and it ain't so much more. Now don't take a pass, this could be a gas. The stew called New Orleans. From the very young to the very old, it's a town where the good times roll. This stew called New Orleans. Don't forget to bring your greens to this stew called New Orleans. Now, I'm not the first, and I won't be the last to say or to have it said. I'm New Orleans born, New Orleans bred, and when I die, I'll be New Orleans dead. And if I do, and you should hear the news, don't you waste any time. Find the Treme Brass Band, James Andrews on horn, and get me to a second line. In this stew called New Orleans. Don't forget to bring your greens to this stew called New Orleans. Hunter Burgundy on the lead guitar, y'all. Come check out the scene and see what I mean about the stew called New Orleans. There's a place where we can meet, like the song says, down on Frenchman Street. And if that groove makes you wanna move, don't you waste any time. Find the hot 8 brass band, Shamar on horn, and get you to a second line. Baby Leroy Jones, Shorty and his trombone will get you to a second line. Mr. Matt Perrine or Mr. Gregory Klein will get you to a second line. One more now. And even if there's heat, Glenn David's fine. He'll get you to a second line. In this stew called New Orleans, don't forget to bring your green to this stew called New Orleans. Yeah, I'm talking about a stew called New Orleans. Yeah, I'm talking about a stew called New Orleans. Yes, indeed, y'all. Welcome. I'm Paul Sanchez. Introduce the band. That's Hunter Burgamy on the guitar. Gerald Watkins Jr. on the drums, y'all. His wife, Candace, is out here. She's going to be singing on the last song of the night, as is my friend Carmela. She just found that out. As Jason Jerzak on the stand-up bass, y'all. And the amazing Russell Welsh on the guitar behind me over here. This song here is another one I feel like if I'm playing a jazz museum, it should be in the set. I wrote it with guitar virtuoso John Rankin and jazz legend Leroy Jones. It was on a record I did with John Boutte, and Leroy actually did it with a big band. It was amazing, and these guys were cool enough to learn it. It's called 251. She kept slipping me her digits, but I left them on the bar. And now the band wants me to remember, but I can only get this far. I got 251, and then the numbers run from where I placed my drink and blink. I got 251, and then the numbers run. 251, I think. I should have paid more attention to my music making friends, 'cause now the band wants me to remember, but all I can think of again is 251. And then the numbers run from where I placed my drink and blink. I got 251, and then the numbers run. 251, I think. Well, the trombone player's on the corner pouting. The trumpet player, he's gone home. The singer's on the sidewalk, practically shouting, y'all can all chase girls, I wanna go get stoned. Burgamy on that lead guitar, y'all. I could hear the fellas laughing. I said, that's fine by me. But if you get to the last part, remember that the first part is safe with me. I got 251, and then the numbers run from where I placed my drink and blink. I got 251, and then the numbers run. 251, I think. Yes, indeed. So I wrote a song with a buddy up in Wellfleet, And it was supposed to be like a little acoustic John Prine number, which I've done plenty of in my career. But my friend Carmela heard it and thought it would be really cool as a traditional jazz song with me singing in French, which I'd never done before, so she's kind of a genius because she got me to do it. She's sitting out here. She produced the session, and this got released as a single a month ago. Its original title was Same Old Sunset, and in French it's C'est Même Vu sur les couchants. And I had to translate it, and I found out I couldn't translate it like a conversation because some of the lines simply didn't translate. Like one line he had written was, tequila, how you loosened those jeans from her thighs, which is a great and sexy line in English, but it doesn't exist in French. So I had to change the line to, there was tequila, her jeans disappeared. It's as close as I could get. It sounds better in French, really. You just count us again, baby. C'est même vu sur les couchants, j'ai les boutons des fois. Quand les ciels éclore dehors, obscurité, obscurité, tu l'OM, c'était-il là du mois août, et les bois avant volé, au soleil couchant, et joli temps passé. C'est même vieux soleil couchant, je l'ai entendu soupirer. Il y avait de la tequila, son Jean a disparu. Obscurité, obscurité, tu es loin, je ne l'ai pas vu venir, pourtant quelle belle trouvaille. Oh, soleil couchant, et joli temps passé. C'est même vu sur le couchant, je l'ai vu tant de fois. Elle est partie, je ne sais pas pourquoi. Obscurité, obscurité, tu hantes toujours mon esprit. Il fait jour à jouir, j'ai pleuré toujours. Oh, soleil couchant, et joli temps passé. Et joli temps passé. Et joli temps passé. Thanks very much, y'all. You know, it's been all the newspapers. Y'all might have heard there's a new pope, and that his grandparents came from the 7th Ward here in New Orleans, the Creole. Yeah, let's clap for that, absolutely. If you're from someplace else and you've only heard the term Creole, I'll tell you, it began as a Spanish word, criolla, which meant a mixture of people, Spanish and French and Native American and African American. Some folks like to call that human beings. It got complicated somewhere along the way. But I like to celebrate the fact that we are indeed here in New Orleans a mixture. And that song there was in French. My grandmother was Ella Plaisance. My father was Andres Sanchez, and this one here is in Spanish. I wrote this living down in Belize after Katrina. It was almost 20 years ago now, and I lost everything in the flood, and these folks, I was on tour with my old rock band, and these folks said I could come and stay for a couple of weeks at their resort on an island off the coast. If you ever lose everything, go stay at a resort on an island off the coast. Highly recommend it. You don't figure anything out. I didn't, but it was awesome. And they said I could stay for free for 2 weeks, and then 3 months later, they were like, you really have to go back to New Orleans. But since I spent so much time there, I learned how to write songs in Spanish, and this was one of them. I said, I'll be back, y'all. It's called Adios, San Pedro. Mi guitarra, canta una canción de Adios San Pedro, no lágrimas, no tristezas, yo volveré otra vez un día. Ay, San Pedro, las playas, los sol quema nuestros bellos corazones. Ay, San Pedro, yo volveré otra vez un día. Eternamente, eternamente, de ola en ola, yo te sigo esperando con confianza en el cielo, el mar y el paso de las arenas y el tiempo. Ay, San Pedro, las playas, el sol quema nuestros bellos corazones. Ay, San Pedro, yo volveré otra vez un día. Mirando las estrellas que recuerdan a San Pedro como fosforosa en el mar de la noche. Mi guitarra canta una canción de adiós, San Pedro. Ay, San Pedro, las playas, el sol quema nuestros bellos corazones. Ay, San Pedro, yo volveré otra vez un día. Yo volveré otra vez un día. En verano, en primavera, todos los años, todos los días, yo volveré otra vez un día. Thanks very much. That's Hunter Burgamy on the lead guitar there. Well, this is a very long solo, so y'all split this one. Somebody take half on this next. Oh, we do Love Always Finds a Way. This one here, I'm working on a trad jazz record that Carmela's producing, and a modern jazz record that Canary Islands producing. My first time doing jazz of any kind. I've been a rocker most of my life, but it just worked out that way. I'm having a great time doing it. And this is the title cut of the record Shamar's doing. It's called Love Always Finds a Way, and I used this joke at Jazz Fest, but I'll use it again. My first love from when I was 19 is in the audience, y'all. Yeah, isn't that nice? And she wanted to have kids, and I wanted to see the world with my songs. So we did. We went our separate ways. And 36 years later, her sons were grown men, and I'd seen the world with my songs, and we were both divorced, and we got back together, and we just celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary in March. So this one's for Allison. Love always finds a way. Nice and easy. Take it around from the C to the A minor, D minor, G one time. Sound asleep, we changed. And I'm up late with my memories, you and me, and the years that couldn't be. But love always finds a way, and it found its way back to you and me. Could be wrong. This could be a familiar song, or perhaps it's simply that we were meant to be. But love always finds a way, and it found its way back to you and me. Still blush when I feel the rush of your touch going straight to my head, and I feel flush when I hear you gush about following where our hearts led. And when you wake, I'll wait until your second cup. When I know you're up, then allow myself to interrupt and say love always finds a way, and it found its way back. Love always finds a way, and it found its way back. Love always finds a way, and it found its way back to you and me. Russell Welsh on the guitar. Hunter Bergerman. I feel flush when I hear the rush of your touch going straight to my head. And I feel flush when I hear you gush about following where our hearts led. And when you wake, I'll wait until your second cup. When I know you're up, then allow myself to interrupt and say love always finds a way, and it found its way back. Love always finds a way, and it found its way back. Love always finds a way, and it found its way back to you and me. Thanks very much, y'all. This is a brand new song, just recorded it. It's going to come out as a single sometime in June. Now, in the old days, I'd bring a bunch of merchandise. I'd say, hey, here's some stuff. Now I say, just if you want anything that you've heard today, you can just whip out your phone and buy it, because that's where it is these days, man. And, of course, at the Louisiana Music Factory, my stuff's always been there. It's been there for 30-something years. Anyway, this is a new one. I wrote it with my dear friend John Rankin, guitar master, and my friend Carmela Rapazzo, a great songwriter, and my producer on this project. It's called Alone in Paris. Ready? It's I Was Alone in Paris. I'm sorry, Jason. He was looking for the I in his book. It just hits from you. Yeah. It always seems so special as I stroll every street, a heady perfume in the air. My heart would skip a beat, but still there's something missing. Je ne peux pas sentir ses charmes. It may be bold, but truth be told, I need you in my arms. I was alone in Paris, splendor all around. The sights and sounds of Paris are my playground. Postcards to you from Paris, wishing you were here. Days bring ennui in Paris without you, dear. This city of lights would feel so right if I had you kissing me tonight. My heart like the Seine and the Saint-Germain are changed when I can't call your name. But here I am in Paris, and for you I long. A dream of you in Paris is my love song. To y'all. This city of lights would feel so right if I had you kissing me tonight. My heart like the Seine and the Saint-Germain are changed when I can't call your name. But here I am in Paris, and for you I long. A dream of you in Paris is my love song. Paris est chanson d'amour. Paris is my love song. Thanks very much, y'all. Been talking about Carmela producing my next record. We've been writing songs together for a while, and she's put them on a few of her records, and this one was on her last record, 9, and we're going to do it for y'all now. It's called Too Much in Love. Give her a hand. Carmela Rapazzo. Could be the weather or the heat.
Maybe potholes in the street.
Well, it looks like the Saints are gonna suffer defeat.
In the past you would curse all the stars up above.
Not these days, 'cause you're too much in love.
A neighbor you could swear,
Making noises like a bear.
nobody else in the neighborhood cares.
Now you let it go by, you're on some kind of high. Cooing like a dove, who's in love?
There's a lilt in your voice
And every day you rejoice.
while you whistle some distracted tune.
You're completely over the moon.
Some guy on the plane
Is driving you so insane.
picking your seat with a second line beat.
There once was a time you'd give him a shove, but these days you're too much. These days you're too much. These days you're too much in love.
It's all sweetness and light.
And your eyes shine way too bright. the moon.
Stuck in traffic in the rain.
Used to make you scream in vain.
Cursing like a sailor, only way more profane.
There once was a time you'd give him a shove.
But
These days you're too much. These days you're too much. These days you're too much in love. Carmela Rapazzo, yeah. I got a friend here. He's part of an organization called the Threadheads. And without the Threadheads, I would not have a solo career post-Katrina and Cowboy Mouth. They started a not-for-profit record label and released a lot of records by artists, but really helped me restart my life post-Katrina. And they have these tremendous fundraisers every year called Patries. They say it was a misspell on the typewriter. I say somebody was stoned. But one of the Threadheads is here, and he's legendary because he makes refreshments for the parties, and you'll find out what kind in the course of this next song. But this is for my friends Nancy and Barry, who I've slept on their couch, I've eaten their food, I've smoked their weed. They helped me when I was down and lifted me back to a place that feels good, and I love them both dearly. This is called Be a Threadhead. So it goes. We'll take it around one time, and I'll come and sing. Yeah, I want it. Music loving, let's go in.
Let's go in.
Come on, be a threadhead. Butt shaking, bar hopping. Come on, be a threadhead. Clap your hands, second line. You feel so fine. Having a threadhead state of mind. With pottery going, good times flowing. Come on, be a threadhead. That's right. Hunter Burgundy. We're no sleeping, board posting. Come on, be a threadhead. We're butt shaking and bar hopping. Come on, be a threadhead. We're slinging beers at Lena C's. We're dancing with the band. There's Jello shots and Barry's brownies. Hat wearing, bread donating. Come on, be a threadhead. Come on, Russell, be a threadhead. That's Russell Welch, y'all. We're Frenchmen rolling. We're rockin' bowling. Come on and be a threadhead. We're no sleeping and board posting. Come on and be a threadhead. Well, here's some love from me to use at the Kids Cafe. And dancing with the Zulu, music loving, fest going. Come on, be a threadhead. Come on, be a threadhead. Come on, be a threadhead. Just like we didn't rehearse it. They never heard it before just now, so that's all right. Okay, yeah, we got this one here. We're going to do Jet Black and Jealous. We still have plenty of time. My songs are short. This one is not a country song. It's on the downbeat. Learned that from him. 1993, my first solo record came out. I was in a rock band at the time, and we were trying to get a record deal, and they weren't too happy that I got one before them. But I was young. It was a tiny label. We got signed to a major. I got signed to a small label out of Atlanta. And I sold 3,000 records, and I thought that was the greatest thing that was ever going to happen to me in my life. I was young. I was in my 20s. I just thought, this is it. This is great. 3,000 people are going to know my tunes. That's awesome. And then Katrina happened, and I lost everything. And I got a call from a lawyer in Nashville. And he said, hi, I'm a lawyer in Nashville. That's how I figured it out. And he said, my client is a really big fan of yours. And I said, uh-huh. He said, he's a songwriter himself. I said, uh-huh. He said, he likes your song, Jet Black and Jealous, a lot. And I said, uh-huh. He said, he likes it so much he wrote his own version and recorded it. And nobody was supposed to hear it. I went, uh-huh. And he said, I know a lawyer from Nashville. Can't be good news. I said, well, you know, not in my experience, but pray continue. He said, well, somehow the head of the record label heard it, and they got this band from Texas that they just signed, and they want them to record this version. Can we send it to you and see what you think? And they sent it. And they had changed a lot of the melody and a lot of the lyrics, and so I called them back when you used to call people in the 93, and I was something before electricity, y'all, I want to tell you that. I called them, and I said, they said, what you think? And I said, well, do I still get paid? And they said, yeah, you get half. And I said, I love this version. This is my favorite version of any song of mine anybody ever did, including me. And then about 6 months later, they called me. They said the band decided to make it the title cut of their debut release on Universal Records. And I said, that's great. And so then it came out, and it was in the charts. And it was great. It was after Katrina. I needed the money, but also, it was a nice stroke. I look in Billboard, go to the country music section, and I'd see Jet Black and Jealous in the charts, my first record, right? And then I'd see the band, and if I squinted my eyes just enough, the guy with the brown hair looked like me, and I was young again. So it was just a win-win-win. I was making money. I was young again. I was in the papers. It was just a great, so eventually the band was called the Eli Young Band, and I never did hear their music, but I think they're geniuses. And I'm at least have really great taste. And I'm grateful to them for doing my song because they really helped me out after the flood. All right. Is this on? You read the entire works of T.H. White, and I never asked you any questions. And you looked just like a movie queen last night. So I didn't mind the extra weight in. But you beat my arms with your slashing tongue, and it was no fun for me, in fact. It was black, jet black and jealous. And you stopped me slinky cat-like on the prowl. I shrug and pretend that I can't hear you. And you hold your breath until I ask you how. Then how yourself you shoot back in my face. You lick your fingers and you wipe your eyes and you smear the streaking stains that are black, jet black and jealous. There's a blind rage building you can't control. Suck in hot air, it comes out cold. You're building a cage that surrounds your soul and pulls you down, deeper down, 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 deeper down. And the people making love inside your head, well, they have no life except for what you give them. Yeah, laughing, dancing, falling into bed. 'cause they're sickened by the scent of your suspicion. You cut yourself in the wee hours and you don't believe red instead is black, jet black and jealous. Is black, jet black and jealous. Is black, jet black and jealous. Thanks, y'all. Very nice, fellas. This is a song I wrote that was on a record I did with John Boutte, so another great reason to play it, because he and Carmela held my hand into jazz, so I owe them both. One, two. I still think of things I think you'd like to know. In the morning, when I read my paper, just before I realize what I thought was hanging in the air was here in an empty chair. Here in an empty chair. I still laugh out loud at things you used to say. Sometimes in the middle of a sentence or a day, and realize what I thought was hanging in the air was here in an empty chair. Here in an empty chair. Everything's in place, but the past has been erased, and nothing is the same that I can see. And I don't understand why we're not holding hands as seconds slip away from me. And it's funny, but I don't cry at night. Only in the morning, when we've said goodbye, and I realize what I thought was hanging in the air is here in an empty chair. Here in an empty chair. Swing it, fellas. There's Russell Welsh on the lead guitar. Burgundy, y'all. Everything's in place, but the past has been erased, and nothing is the same that I can see. And I don't understand why we're not holding hands as seconds slip away from me. And it's funny, but I don't cry at night. Only in the morning when you've said goodbye, and I realize what I thought was hanging in the air was here in an empty chair. Here in an empty chair. One more time, fellas. Here in an empty chair. Thanks very much, y'all. We just have a few more to do. It's been so lovely to play for y'all. What a beautiful afternoon for me. Thank y'all so much for being here. Let's give it to the band one more time. Hunter Burgamy on the lead guitar. Joe Watkins Jr. on the drums. Jason Jerzak on the upright bass. Russell Welsh on the lead guitar. Now this next one is a song I wrote with Shamar Allen called Love is Blind. And Shamar produced a record for me about, back in 2011. He called me up, he said, Uncle Paul, he's 20 years younger than me. He said, Uncle Paul, we got to make us a record. I just saw Johnny Cash and Louis Armstrong on YouTube together. I said, all right, what you got in mind? He said, well, I want to do old people's music like you like, and I'll sing it, and young people's music like I like, and you sing it. Yeah. His son recently used that line on him, so it comes around. But we did, and one day I walked in. This is how I came to write my first and only hip-hop song. I got to the studio, and he said, Uncle Paul, on the way to the studio, I saw hand-painted on the back of the car the words, Love is blind, has no color. So I made a hip-hop loop, and I wrote a chorus. And I want you to write the verse. Now, I'd only written pop songs up to this point, and so I went out and I wrote 4 lines for each verse, came back, and he said, Uncle Paul, that's too short. You got to write a hip-hop song, man. There's got to be some words here. So I went back, I added 8 more lines, man. I thought, geez, this is something. You got like a Bob Dylan song going on. I came back, he says, no, Uncle Paul, it ain't long enough, man. Go listen to some hip-hop. So he made me listen to some hip-hop, and I was like, wow, that's like a small novella. That's like a short book. I can have fun with this. So I had a good time writing it with him, and for the first time, only time in my life, I was hip. I tried to tell him that, I said to him, I called him, I said, hey, I like the record, you made me fresh. He said, don't, Uncle Paul, just don't. Anyway, it's called Love is Blind, and I wrote it with Shamar Allen, and he produced a lovely record for us. Oh, I forgot. This is a song I decided that I feature Russell Welsh on. So we did it at Jazz Fest, and we did it at French Quarter Fest, but these guys are jazz players, and they're so polite and elegant and beautiful, and I love them for it. But I come from rock and roll, and sometimes you just got to get sloppy and nasty with the gravy falling right all off the poo boy. So I said to him, man, I want a couple of mistakes in this song, and Russell, I'd like you to announce your presence with authority. So featuring on the lead guitar, Mr. Russell Welsh, y'all. blind, love has no color. What I'm trying to say is we should love one another. It's written in the good book, that's how it's supposed to be. Love is blind, love has no color. Treat everybody like a sister or a brother. That's what my mom and my dad always said to me. See, I was born in a different time. In my neighborhood, love sure wasn't colorblind. Grew up hearing, stick to your own kind. Everybody fighting for what was theirs, though we had so little that we shouldn't have cared. But when you're taught to live in fear, you live there. Catholic school where it seemed to me that the Lord loved the people with the do-re-mi. And if you got no money, you invisible, you see. Third grade, I remember it still. In the schoolyard, heard Dr. King was killed. One of the other kids laughed, even at 10 years old. It made me ill. Love is blind, love has no color. What I'm trying to say is we should love one another. It's written in the good book, that's how it's supposed to be. Love is blind, love has no color. Treat everybody like a sister or a brother. That's what my mom and my dad always said to me. Pain and fear can do their part, drop by drop upon the heart. You put yourself together, but not till you fall apart. Started running and falling fast, leaving space between me and my past, leaving pieces of me like bits of broken glass. Bridging the gap, it took me years for my eyes to see and ears to hear. That light surrounds us, waiting to appear. Some people see the world and wonder why. Some people never even ever bother to try. I'm one of the people who still believe we can fly. Love is blind, love has no color. What I'm trying to say is we should love one another. It's written in the good book, that's how it's supposed to be. Love is blind, love has no color. Treat everybody like a sister or a brother. That's what my mom and my dad always said to me. Now I let things come and go. I walk the way the wind blows. My heart is broken as the Gulf of Mexico. It's a long way from there to here, step by step, year to year. The longest journey begins with one single tear. If love is blind and it has no color, and hope is something we can give each other, then I still have hope for the son of every mother. Love is blind, love has no color. What I'm trying to say is we should love one another. It's written in the good book, that's how it's supposed to be. Love is blind, love has no color. Treat everybody like a sister or a brother. That's what my mom and my dad always... Y'all sing Love is Blind with me now, come on y'all. Love is blind, love has no color. What I'm trying to say is we should love one another. It's written in the good book, that's how it's supposed to be. Come on now. Love is blind, love has no color. Treat everybody like a sister or a brother. That's what my mom and my dad always said to me. Thanks very much, y'all. The amazing Russell Welsh on the lead guitar. Two more quick songs to do for y'all and we'll be done. And then both of them were written with John Boutte. This one here, John says to me, we got to write a song about my older sister. When we were growing up, she was the hey now, door pop, and queen of the Treme. And I said, John, I'll write that song if you tell me what the hell you just said. He said, baby, you grew up in New Orleans, you don't know what door popping is? I said, I don't know what anything you just said means. He said that door popping's when you're so nosy, you stick your face in the screen so you can spy on the neighborhood. And he said, you get too into it, you pop the screen out. And he said his sister was so shameless that when she get busted spying, she wouldn't even try to hide. She'd just call out, "Hey now." And since they lived in the Treme, in his mind, that made her the hey now door-popping queen of the Treme. Now, once he explained that to me, I said, well, yeah, that's got to be a song. So we commenced to write, and about halfway through, somebody showed up with a very expensive bottle of red wine, and John Boutte would much rather drink a very expensive bottle of red wine than work with me any day of the week. And I lost him, and I said, well, I can't finish this without you, man. I grew up in the Irish Channel. It's not a Creole vibe at all. But his cousin, Vance Vokersong, was there. Now, Vance, if you've never been to Vokersong's Cafe, greatest soul food in New Orleans, give him a hand, that's right. And he's three generations of Creole sausage makers, but also, like a lot of New Orleans people, a poet and a great singer. So I turned to Vance, I said, come on, man, you're from the Treme. What would an old lady in the Treme trying to tell a gossipy girl she was trying to make stop? And he thought for a second, and he started laughing to himself, and he said, Mama Martina with her mauvais on, making machucan over fresh tonton. I said, that's perfect, I love it. I don't know what it means, but I love it. And he explained, Mama Martina means my little sister, with her mauvais on means with her evil mouth, or her gossipy mouth. Making machucan means causing trouble over fresh tonton. Tonton is what they call the end of a piece of French bread, have it with their coffee in the morning. And it's so beautiful it had to be the song. So this is written with John Boutte, Vance Vokersong, and me. It's called Door Poppin'. Hey now, door popping, my big sister can't stop gossiping. Hey now, door popping, I'm gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. My big sister, the hey now, door popping queen. I always got her face pressed up against the front door screen. Nettie, the fellas in the old Treme, was back at my sister, would she say, hey now, door poppin', my big sister can't stop gossiping. Hey now, door poppin', mama's gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. Sticking her 2 cents in and running her mouth. Always gotta know what somebody's business be about. She and Miss Hino and Mamu peeking out the shutters straight at you, yeah. Hey now, door poppin', my big sister can't stop gossiping. Hey now, door poppin', I'm gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. Mama Martina with a mauvais on, making my shoe count over fresh tonton. Hey now, door poppin', my big sister can't stop gossiping. Hey now, door poppin', mama gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. Mama gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. Mama gonna get you, and it's your ass for sure. Thanks very much, y'all. Well, thank you. Thank you to the Jazz Museum. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks to Travis and Danny and Christian. And it's just been a joy, man. The PA is awesome. You guys are awesome. Now I can go and have an awesome weekend. My wife retired yesterday, so we are, in fact, going away for the weekend. Yes, indeed. It's another song I wrote with John Boutte. We were walking at the end of Canal Street comparing the differences and similarities in our lives growing up in the 60s as little boys. Like, we were both raised Catholic. We both had a bunch of sisters that really raised us. Both, both had music all through the family. But there were differences, too. Like, when we were little kids, we couldn't have ridden on the same part of a city bus together because of segregation. So we were comparing the differences in growing up in New Orleans at that time. And we were walking by the cemeteries at the end of Canal Street. And he turned to me and said, you know what, baby, my father's buried in that cemetery right there. I said, man, that's one more thing we got in common. My daddy's buried right across the street. And he smiled and said, you know what, baby, black or white, we all go meet at the foot of Canal Street. I said, well, that's a natural fact there. Let's go back and write us a song. So I went home and I said, man, let's write us a second line song. I'd love it if one of my tunes could be played at somebody's second line funeral. That would be such an honor. I said, but we didn't have it in the Irish Channel. You know, it's a different culture. What's it like? I've seen them, you know, on the outside it looks so beautiful and so holy and so spiritual. And he smiled real mischievous and he went, well, baby, you know, it's beautiful and all, but mostly the bitches wonder what the other bitch is going to be wearing. And mostly the men are carrying a flask in their hip pocket waiting for that band to kick it so they can, you know, kick it too. I said, that's beautiful. Let's put that in the song. And I said, what would be the greatest thing could happen at a jazz guy's funeral? He said, well, you know, baby, they call Louis Armstrong Pops, and if Pops was still alive and he could blow walk on at your funeral, you'd think he was already in heaven. So we put all that in a song, and when I do it for folks, it has been sung at some people's crossing over, and I'm real honored about that. And I tell folks that are here that the chorus is simple. It's Foot of Canal Street. And think about somebody who helped you be the person that's sitting here right now that can't sit next to you no more to sing along. But if you sing from the heart, they'll be with you right there, because that's where they're going to live for the rest of your life. So you sing with us, and let's end this thing proper for the weekend. Once more time for the band. I'd like to bring up to help me out on this one, Candace and Carmela, to come sing on Foot of Canal Street. Give them a hand. Candace is Gerald's wife. They're newlyweds, y'all. They haven't been married very long. They're still celebrating. Don't waste your time being angry when a moment's much better with a smile. And if you feel your time's been wasted here for a while. Standing at the bus stop, I was just across from Krause, and I'm waiting for the driver to take me to my heavenly house, and I'll see you there. You can now see what will you wear? What will the band be playing? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal? Your father lie there. Does your mother pray? I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of Canal Street. And when the levee banks have overflowed and the streetcar has seen its day, when all is gone, the plantations, hallelujah, the Treme and the Bucare, I'll be swinging to that music. I'll be up on higher ground where Pops is blowing walk on. Up with Gabriel, make a sacred sound. And I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal? What will the band be playing at the foot of Canal? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal? Does your father lie there? Does your mother pray? Yeah. I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of Canal Street. Take it around, baby. More time for Hunter. And I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. And what will you wear at the foot of Canal? What will the band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? And what will the people be saying at the foot of Canal Street? Your father lie there? Does your mother pray? I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of... Y'all sing it for us now, come on. And I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. And what will you wear? At the foot of Canal. What will the band be playing? At the foot of Canal. What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal? Does your father lie there? Does your mother pray? I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of Canal. One more time, let's all do it together. And I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal Street? What will the band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? What will the people be my golden crown. I wanna lay my burden down. I'll be moving up to higher ground at the foot of Canal Street. At the foot of Canal Street. I'm Paul Sanchez. Thank y'all so much. Happy Memorial Day, y'all. Thank you very much.